Well, good morning, beautiful souls. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing absolutely amazing. It is Monday, March 28th, 2022. Okay, today, this might be a part one of many part series. I started reading a book. It's called Kundalini and the Chakras, a practical manual evolution in this lifetime by Genevieve Lewis Paulson. I found the book on a used book website, and because I do tend to haunt them quite often, I love going on there because you can find some really outdated stuff or obsolete stuff that can be quite interesting. Now, I thought about reading up about the Kundalini, but not the more modern version of it, because I find that interesting how things have changed throughout the years. But I also find when things are being discovered or being researched, a lot more of your questions are posed forward in that book and answered, because it's almost like some of the ones I've been reading of modern times have an assumption that you already know about this and your questions aren't really answered. Or, somebody's researching to give you those answers, but may not be straightforward and saying, here is your answer, blah, 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 blah. Here's the research, you draw your own conclusion. So when I started reading this book, I found it very interesting. I just want to read a little bit from it and talk about this paragraph. Okay? Kundalini, a Sanskrit word meaning circular power, is an individual's basic evolutionary force. Each of us is born with some of this energy already flowing. The amount available and usable determines whether a person has a low intelligence, is a genius, or is somewhere in the middle. It is just not a matter of using what we already have, but awakening the much greater amount waiting in the Kundalini reservoir located at the base of your spine. Now, what I find interesting about that is the reference to intelligence. Now, I'm sorry, you may hear that. That's me putting a bookmark in. So, what is one's intelligence? How do you base someone's intelligence? Like, you look at somebody who's been labeled autistic, and they could be a super genius, the Rain Man, that sort of thing. Again, that is a human label because they don't fit someone's beliefs when they created these labels and put people in boxes and things like that. Now, going through school, I was bored. I was absolutely bored. Never good in math. Well, spelling and reading, pretty good in that, I'll tell you. But people would have considered me, I guess, slow or not intelligent. But even from a young age, I seemed to be seeing the world slightly different. I never fit in. The world was this alien force in front of me that I didn't know what to do with. And I found it very hard to fit into that world. I always refer to square peg, round hole, me trying to fit into it. It never happened. And I'm also what they label an introvert. I do not like crowds. I get into crowds. Even when I was younger, I didn't like crowds. I would take my little plastic farm animals and be more than happy to play by myself for hours on end, or be out in the woods playing. That was more me. I enjoy that. But I've also since then realized creative people, that's what we do. Now, is our creativity that Kundalini energy? Is that wanting to be introverted because of the world out there It doesn't mean our intelligence are any lower than anybody else's or any higher than anybody else's. It's the depth in which you can see what's going on. Like, how can some people, mathematicians, look at numbers and understand them? It beats the hell out of me. I don't have that depth of vision, but they might not be able to do something else that I can or you can on a grander scale. But we've labeled it. And this book had labeled, about your intelligence. Is it not so much your intelligence, but your awareness around you? Who knows? Who knows? I find it very interesting. Now, has there been red flags? Not red flags, that's not a good word to use. Has there been indicators throughout our lives, especially the ones going through the Kundalini now? I believe that it happened for a reason. We need to do this. We were awakened. But have we been prepared all our life to do this? And the argument's always been yes, we have been, but we just haven't recognized it. Have we gone through learning experiences to prepare us for this moment in time? There's a specific reason for this moment in time that we had awakened. And it's a mass awakening that's happening. And yes, oh yes, big time. Universe got something planned there. Yeah, we may agree to it and said, okay, you need to be sent down to Earth now. You're going to awaken in the year 2020. I believe that's the year I'd awakened. Time has gone by because I've been home, which has suited me fine because why? I've been labeled an introvert or antisocial or this, that, and the other thing. I can't be around society. Get me in a group of people that think the way I do, and I feel like I'm home. I had this experience on, not this weekend that went by, the weekend before. We went to a living history event, trade show, fair thing. And through the whole time, it took every ounce of energy I had to stay standing up because I thought I was going to pass out at every corner, constantly wobbly, everything like this. But there was a lot of fear in the air, and I could feel that. This was a big event. It usually is every year. It's always packed with people. But I think people were fearing what we've been through the past couple of years, all this sort of stuff. There was still that fear there. But I came across, it was a little table, and they had like jewelry, crystals, things like that, but in the form of jewelry. And I was just in my glory there. The people, the man and the woman, absolutely amazing. I stood there for about 30 minutes talking to them while my husband wandered off. I really enjoyed it. And it was so nice to be with someone that did not think I was crazy. We're looking at some of the I can't remember what they're called, but the brooches and the necklaces with the crystals in it. That she said every time she picks one, she sees a picture in it. So we were going through them, seeing what pictures we could find, and it was just absolutely amazing. And she gave me some ideas on some books. That's how I found the Kundalini book for crystals, how to identify them, and their metaphysical story behind them. But to get back to the book, I really found that interesting because it was still hanging on to society dictating how we are to be labeled and how we are to be measured, which I can understand. I really can. Because you have nothing to go on. But I also read in the forward part of it, it's becoming more aware of that every, medical personnel should be aware of this to help people through the Kundalini. No, if you find somebody out there, send me their name and number, okay? Especially in the UK. Because the first thing they want to do is medicate you. And really, you medicate somebody, Okay, my opinion again. You medicate somebody, you're causing another problem going on in there. It's learning how to deal with it, to understand what's going on. When you start to understand what's going on, you feel a lot better. I know I keep harping on about it, and I'm going to keep harping on it for days to come. But we were given this. We are blessed. It will force you to change. It definitely will. And if it doesn't force you to, if you don't change as it's forcing you, you'll have side effects from it that are not very pleasing. But it has nothing to do with our intelligence. If I was to sit down and write a test right now, forget it. But it doesn't mean that I'm not an intelligent person. I'm an intelligent person on a different level. So it's different levels of spiritual or energetic intelligence. I'm going to throw that in there. You could be a super genius. You could have been born wide awake. I think that would have been the cat's ass if that happened, but it didn't. So we all start off at some level, because it says there, everybody has it, but it's whether you recognize it or not. So is it our intellectual energy that we're looking at, not what's up here? It's this whole thing, our understanding, believing, embracing that energy. Is that what they're referring to? So I'm going to say yes. But at the time the book was written, it was labeled as intelligence. You know, whether you have a low IQ, a low spiritual or energetic understanding, or a higher IQ, a higher energetic spiritual understanding. And I think that's what it's referring to, because especially in this past 2 years, you have to look. And people will understand what I'm saying with this CV-19, rolling up sleeves and all that sort of stuff and what's coming out now. That how could super intelligent people be as thick as pig shit? Like really? Without doing the research, just hopping on the bandwagon, trusting what they're told. When us of a different type of intelligence are going, whoa, whoa. No, something's not right here. Intuition's speaking. Something, that niggles there. It's just like smacking me upside the head constantly, going, stop it, girl. You need to look into this. Something's going on. We listen to that. So does that make us geniuses? It could. But not the genius that some group of people said, if you could do this, this, and this, you're a genius. We got to change society, people. We've had our Kundalini. We've had it for a reason. Yeah, we're here to change the world. Bottom line. But I'm going to read a couple more, and that'll be for a later video. I'm hoping this one actually recorded. I've recorded like 4 or 5, and none of them could be found. And it's very frustrating when that happens. So hopefully this one has. It's a quiet day out there. Now it is. It wasn't earlier this morning with all the digging and carrying on. So hopefully back to regular posting of videos and everything else. And we will look further into the book. I'm going to show it. It's probably going to get taken down, but it's worth a try. This is the book, Kundalini and the Chakras. You can find it, or just stick with me and we'll go through bits and bobs of it, and you'll get the overview of the book and obviously my opinion along the way. Okay, love and light. I love you all, and I hope everybody has an absolutely amazing day. Bye-bye.